Okay, everybody, welcome to day 2 of the Affluent Effect training. So today we're going to be talking about how you can add value to people who are higher net worth. And I get questions about this a lot. One of the things that I have been able to be really good at is just connecting with people who are way above my pay grade. And I've been able to really normalize access to mentors and leaders and people who I want to talk to on my podcast or things like that. And so I want to talk about the frame of mind that I come from when I am looking to build relationships with people. And so we're going to take these 7 ways today. We're going to go through all of those and talk about them. And then tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to pull it all together as to how you can leverage the mindset of affluence, these 7 different ways to add value, and how to plug that into the way that you introduce yourself to other people, the way that you market your products and services to other people, and the way that you build your network and your relationships. So if you guys have any questions, we've got an intimate group, so feel free to pop it in the chat or unmute and let me know. Because what I think would be really helpful is when trainings like this are actually interactive and contextual and not just me giving you some definition and then you're like, cool, how does that apply to me? So be thinking about the types of people that you would like to build relationships with, and then we're going to use them as an example when we go through these different, what I call life currencies. So the first thing we're going to talk about is there's 2 ingredients for how to add value to somebody who is high net worth. And the first ingredient is that you need to meet a need that they have, right? So if you are selling them something, your product or service needs to be meeting a need. But if you're not selling them something and you're looking to just connect and build a relationship and see where that relationship goes, you still need to be meeting some sort of need that they have. All right. So we're going to talk about there's 6 human needs, and Tony Robbins talks about this. And we're going to go through these 6. What's really cool is if you can hit more than one of these needs, your ability to influence other people is greatly increased. So first thing is the first human need that we all have is the need for certainty. All right. So certainty means that we want to be assured that we are going to either avoid pain or gain pleasure. Right. So here's where I'm going to call you guys to participate. I want you to put either in the chat or you feel free to unmute. Let's talk about someone that you would like to connect with, whether it's a specific person or maybe it's just an avatar of a person.
Personally, I am struggling with app development, and I really would like to meet someone in the technology field or in someone who has developed apps or someone who just knows how to code that could help me and guide me on this kind of part of the business.
Okay, awesome. I know someone that I could connect you with that builds apps and has exited and had a successful exit out of a company. So there you go. Connections right there. Okay, fabulous. William, did you have anyone you want to share of who you're looking to connect with or a type of person you're looking to connect with? You might be on chat only. I do not know. Can't talk. No worries. Okay. All right. So when we are looking to create certainty for other people, we want to look at what is it that's causing them pain, or what is it that they're moving towards? What is that pleasure that they're looking for? All right. So anytime you are getting into a relationship with somebody, you've got to look at things from what I call their operating reality. So whatever is true for them is something that you need to like take what's true for them and put those on as if it were a pair of glasses and look at life through their eyes. So whether that be, do they have a family or children? How old are those children? Do they have a significant other? Do they not? Are they single and looking for somebody? Are they getting into a career? Are they exiting a career? All of these types of questions are things to think about when you are looking at what is it that creates certainty for this person. So someone who is, say, like a successful app developer and has had a lot of experience doing that, they likely have familiarity with working with software developers. They likely have project management experience, and they have probably ran teams before. And running teams and developing can be quite an undertaking. There's a lot of moving parts going on. And so some of the pain points for that person might be around what they're doing professionally. Some of their pain points might be around the fact that maybe they're working too much, and so their personal life is struggling. But getting to know and starting to notice things like that with people is going to help give you some clues as to how you can help meet their needs. All right. The next thing is actually the opposite of certainty. So number one was certainty. Number two is variety or uncertainty. All right. So when we, as humans, we need novelty, right? We need excitement and thrill and adventure. We want to experience life in new and different ways. We want to have this rush of exhilaration and, feel new and different feelings. We want to meet and connect with new people and do different things. So the need for variety, the need for the unknown or for a challenge or even just a change can be very refreshing to people. So when we are looking at meeting a need for our relationships or clients, think about variety and how variety can actually shake things up for somebody. So one example of that might be if someone has an event that they've planned. Events can sometimes get boring, especially if it's online and Zoom, and there's a lot of conversations happening around how do we manage digital teams, right? How do we get rid of this Zoom exhaustion and burnout that we have? Well, there are ways to bring music and interaction and different types of questions and conversation to meetings. And so if you can offer something to somebody and say, hey, look, I can really take like the spice level from like 3 to a 10 in your business, then that could be a way of adding value to somebody. So it could also be adding value in novel experiences, right? People may not even know, like, say, I don't know, horseback riding or doing something that's just so out of the blue for them. Getting them out of that rhythm and rhyme, getting people out of the same monotonous thing, right? And creating some excitement, that's a need that people have. So think about that. Now, I also want you to think about when we add value to people and meet their needs, it's not always about us doing it. So for example, like earlier, Sean was saying, I'm looking for an app developer. Well, look, Natalie is not an app developer, but Natalie knows app developers. And so one way for me to add value to Sean is by connecting him with my friend who has extensive experience building apps. In fact, I have a couple people that I know I could connect you with. So keep that in mind as we keep going through this, is connecting people adds value. All right. And welcome, Elsa. I saw you join us. It's nice to see you. So we're talking about the 6 human needs. Number 1 is certainty. Number 2 is variety. Number 3 is significance. All right. So we need to bring, when we bring significance to others, we give them a feeling of being unique or important, being special or being needed. All right. Think about somebody who has made you feel really special. How easy is it for you to like them? It's very, very easy for you to like somebody who makes you feel special or important. Okay. This is, no worries, Elsa. This is one of my secret weapons that I love using on people. I love complimenting people. I love making people feel special. And even just noticing something about somebody and appreciating that is an awesome way to create more significance towards other people. So get used to complimenting other people because that makes them feel so important and special, and be genuine about it. And you'll find that people will start to open up and they'll be more willing to give you time, or they'll be more willing to listen to you, or they'll actually get curious about what you're up to. And they'll wonder why the heck you're so dang happy and why you're just like going around spreading joy and happiness. So number 1, certainty. Number 2, variety. Number 3, significance. Number 4 is connection and love. All right. So I'm not talking about love in a sexual way. That is reserved for other conversations. But what I am talking about is connection, and love is a feeling of closeness or a feeling of union with someone or something. So when you feel deeply and meaningfully connected, I want us to maybe just actually experience what that feels like inside for a second, because the energy that we experience inside actually has a lot to do with how we interact with other people. There are, verbal communication, there's nonverbal communication. The way that we look communicates things to people. The intonation of my voice is communicating to you guys. And the energy that I feel inside communicates. So when you show up with love and connection to another person, something starts to shift, right? And so think about somebody in your life that it's really easy for you to love them. This could be a special someone in your life. This could be a child. This could be a niece or a nephew. This could even be a stranger and somebody that you see who is suffering and maybe needs just some good old-fashioned human kindness, right? And when we feel that feeling, for me, that is like, there's a warmth in my heart. There's a little bit of like happy butterflies in my belly. And it's like, I want to reach out and give somebody a big hug, right? So when we can create that, we begin to create closeness for people. Each of you on this call, I could go through and say things and create this closeness that I know that I have with each of you. Like Sean on this call is married to my best friend's little sister. And I have such a dear place in my heart for my best friend. And to know that he's family, that's so cool. William and I go back so many years ago, and William really helped me like jumpstart my life and really accelerate me into this world of personal development and coaching and discovering how to do life in an affluent-minded way. And we've had so many deep, meaningful conversations. That's connection. And Elsa, I've had so many wonderful conversations with. We've been through a lot. I've worked with her in the past as a client, and I know she's an incredible, devoted, powerful woman. So when you can create feelings of connection with other people, you are meeting one of their human needs. And the more needs that we can meet, the easier it is for us to influence other people. Okay, so that was number 4. Number 5 is growth. So every human needs to expand their capacity, their capability, and their understanding, right? I'm guessing that's probably part of why you guys are here today, is because you're the type of people who are constantly seeking growth. You're lifelong learners, you're high performers. You desire to grow beyond where you are now and create even more possibility in your life. And that is a basic human need that we all have. Now, I see people, and I have been in the thick of depression this year and in years past. And I think we've all had, we for sure have all experienced what it feels like to be sad and just depleted and not sure if there's anything left that you can give. So here's what I want to say about this and people who are financially affluent is sometimes when you have an abundance of money, there's a lack of a lot of other things in your life. And growth can be one of those things. So make sure that when you're looking at people who you want to network with, who are high net worth individuals, that you see them as people and you see them as humans who need each of these 6 things we're going to be talking about today. All right. Now, growth can also be a part. You can also enroll people. And as you grow and as you are increasing in momentum and in trajectory in your own goals and your life, that's really attractive to other people. And they start to look at that and say, hey, I want to be around that. I like who I am when I'm with you. I want to be around you more. And so that can be your own personal goals, can be a way of meeting the needs of other people. All right. So we've been through certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth. The last one is contribution. So contribution is a sense of service and a focus on helping and giving to others. All right. So the principle of doing good deeds runs through the teachings of Muhammad. It runs through Islam. It runs through Judaism. It runs through Christianity. It runs through it runs through philosophy. It runs through science. Like, it is absolutely proven that doing good deeds to other people is something that not only meets our needs, but it meets the needs of our greater community. So when we can have that sense of giving back, we're meeting needs. So one example of this is I have a friend who runs a multi-million-dollar business that places Filipino VAs into people's companies, and they're highly trained VAs. And recently, one of his biggest clients just had to drop off for whatever reason. So he had 50 different VAs who needed to be placed into new organizations. So he started the 50 Families Challenge, and he was looking to help 50 families by Christmas time to find placement and to replace the income that they had lost. And it was incredible. I was kind of behind the scenes having conversations with him. So many people stepped up, and he got those VAs. I think he got half of them placed within like a week. So when you can connect to a sense of contribution to a group of people, to a community, or to others outside of you, that's a really attractive way to do business and to show up for other people in your network. People want to get involved with things like that. All right, so we've got these human needs. So I said at the beginning of this call, there are 2 ingredients for how you'll add value to people who are of higher net worth. Number 1 is meeting one or more of the needs that they have. All right. Now, these needs that we talked about, these are really high level. This is not very tactical information. This is really more of strategic information for you. So the way that you would meet somebody's needs, say if you were like a package, so like Hector, who was on our call yesterday, he designs packages for food products for people. So like he's designed a tequila bottle, or he's designed like a fruit bar. So meeting the needs of his clients, the needs of certainty, variety, significance, connection, growth, and contribution, he may not be meeting every one of those 6 needs, but there is a way to tie those needs to something as businessy as designing packaging and products. The same way that, designing an app can connect to these needs, or being a coach, helping people with their resilience or their mindset. It all connects back to these needs. And so if you have questions about how you can specifically apply these human needs to your business, feel free to just ping me and we can have a private conversation about what that looks like. Okay. How are you guys doing? I want to check in. I've done a lot of talking. Give me some feedback onto where you're at and if you have any questions.
I thought it was good. I do want to talk to you about my business idea and get kind of some insight, but I also don't want to disclose everything. So that would be, you said we could do a personal chat sometime.
Yep, totally.
That'd be so cool.
Awesome.
Yeah, everything sounds great. I would like to know, I guess, maybe some more examples, if you wouldn't mind. If I don't know how I can meet needs for people who are higher than me, like I don't know what all I can offer. I understand the concepts behind them, but necessarily like what I can do now to start that.
Awesome. Yep. Let's talk about that. And I think diving into this next topic, which is what I call life currencies, will be really helpful for framing up how you add value to other people.
Okay, perfect. Then I'm excited.
Awesome. Elsa, where are you at? How are you? You following along?
Yes, I am. I'm right here.
Awesome. Awesome.
And it all makes sense. Thank you very much.
Awesome. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my screen because I think that will be helpful for what we're going to do next. Let's see here. Share screen. All right. Let me know if you can see this. You should see a slide that says the 7 life currencies. Thumbs up. Oh, I guess I can't see anybody. Let me see a yes or a thumbs up. Okay, awesome. Fabulous. All right. So this is a really cool concept. So life currencies are mental currencies that we use to make purchasing decisions. Okay. Now, we're going to talk about these 7 on the left today. And there are some other currencies that exist that I'm not going to talk about so much today because I believe that it's likely you're most familiar with these. So time and money, we're all familiar with time and money as currencies, right? These are like things silly platitudes that we hear as children, like money doesn't grow on trees and stuff like that, right? So we're not going to be talking about so much time and money and the perception of those, the perception of the value of those things, because what we're going to talk about is how we can change the perception of value without adjusting money. So the thing that happens a lot of the time when people are doing mass marketing and they are marketing to a price conscious buyer, right? Somebody who's really worried about what does this cost? What does this cost? Is they start to make discounts. So they'll reduce the money that that is required to do business with somebody. Well, reducing the amount of money actually reduces the value of what you are providing. Okay. Now there needs to be a match with the value you provide and what you actually charge. But all of these things on the left here, these 7 different currencies actually add value and they create value. So let's dive into this. So number one is frustration or mental load. So frustration and mental load is like the constant thoughts that are happening inside somebody's head where they have to balance and juggle multiple things at the same time. All right. They've got to, so I'll give you my own life as an example. I have a dog. The dog needs to go to the vet. I have 4 kids. Some kids need to be picked up. Some kids need to have diaper changes. I've got a business to run. I've got a meeting to plan. I've got clients to serve. I've got phone calls to make. I've got a slide deck to prepare. I've got to make sure that we have dinner tonight. Are we out of milk? Do I need to go grocery shopping? All of those things could happen inside my head within like a 5-second time frame. Okay. So at that point, my mental load is like it's running hot, right? My bandwidth is really, really, it's being used up. And when somebody's mental bandwidth is being used up, it is super duper frustrating. So anything that you can do that would reduce mental load is going to be valuable, right? So I'll give you an example. I hired a nanny and she came into my house. She would take care of the children. I would go hop into my office, take care of everything I needed. And the nanny would change the diapers. She would clean up the kitchen. She'd clean up the family room. She'd clean up the toys. She would organize the toys. She would make me lunch. She'd make the kids lunch. I didn't have to think twice about any of that stuff. Not only was it worth it for the childcare, it was worth it for the peace of mind, for the clean house, for the sanity, for the time I got back. She created so much value for me, and I was willing to pay her well in order to create that value for me. All right. So that is mental load. Anything you can do to reduce the mental load of your clients or even of the people you're looking to build relationships with is helpful. So here's another example of that. If you are, I'm just checking time. Okay. So if you are looking to connect with a mentor, let's say this is somebody who has a lot of business experience and you want to get into a conversation, right? Make it really easy on them. So say, hey, I will come to you. Like, do you go walking in the mornings? Do you go running? Do you ride bikes? I will come to you. Are you planning to have lunch on this day? I will bring you lunch. Like, don't make them go out of their way. If you're trying to engage with them, you do everything you can to make their life easy. And that is one way that is really helpful. The other thing that I would recommend you do when you're trying to connect with somebody is say, hey, I have a question. I'd like to talk to you for 3 minutes. And I want to ask you about XYZ. When you can frame it up and say, I need this much of your time and this is what I want to talk to you about, people are more likely to say yes. Because when you go to them and say, hey, can I take you to lunch and pick your brain about this? They're like, nope, I don't have time for that, because I don't know if you're going to follow through. I don't know if you're going to show up. I don't know if you're just going to show up one time and then never do anything about it, because that's what most people do. So little small bites is a way to start building trust and rapport with people, no matter who they are, even if it's potential clients. Even if you're like, one of the things that I've done is like, I'll go look at people's web pages and I'll just make a little video and I'll say, hey, I thought I'd give you some feedback on your website and what I thought of it and how your marketing is coming across. And I'll go make a 5-minute video. I'll send it to them. And they're like, wow, that was incredibly valuable. Right now, that's based off of my own skill set. So it'd be different for whatever your skill set is, but anything that you can do like that and giving people little bite-sized bits of value, really helpful. Okay. So that's life currency. Number 1 is frustration. Number 2 is quality. All right. So why on earth would anybody buy a Ferrari or a McLaren? They are way too expensive. Is that true? Well, it depends, right? It depends. Value is in the eye of the beholder. So quality can bring a lot of value to people, right? A high quality car, a high quality bag, high quality jeans, high quality organic food. Quality is one of those things that, depending on who you are, you'll value quality more than you will value, say, money. So for people who are interested in eating perhaps like a vegan organic diet, they are likely to spend more money than somebody who is not interested in doing that. So quality can be interpreted in different ways. And whenever you are providing services to people, my recommendation is to always be a high quality service provider, because when you start to compete on price and it's about low quality, then what happens is you have to be like Walmart. So Walmart competes on low prices. They don't compete on high quality. But the only way that you can compete when it comes to having the lowest price is you literally have to have the lowest price. Otherwise, you will not win. And competing on price means that it is a race to the bottom. It is never a good idea as a service provider, especially as someone who is an entrepreneur and looking to work with someone who has money to spend, who has disposable income. You have to come from a place of value. So make sure that you're offering quality. All right. Number 3 life currency is expertise. All right. So here's a great example of expertise. You could go and do your own taxes and figure out what the tax code is and go grab a tax law book and study it and see what, things you qualify for and how to, depreciate assets and things like that. Or you could hire an expert and you could pay the money to hire an expert. You could trade your money for expertise. That sounds really nice to me. I'm just going to have my CPA do my taxes because I am not an expert. The same is true with a lot of different services in business. So, if you don't know how to build an app, you can go and learn how to do that. And that's going to cost you time. It may even cost you money going through school. It may cost you some frustration because you're going to have to learn all these new coding and languages and things like that. It may cost you some fun. You may have to give up time with your family, or it could cost you money and you could go hire an expert who knows how to do it and who can do it really fast and really well and hire them. All right. So I want you to think about that expertise idea and how you show up as an expert to your own clients. Showing up as an expert and positioning yourself as an expert should save them in these other life currencies, right? So people should save definitely time, most likely money, and those other things that I talked about. All right. All right. Number 4 is convenience. How many of you have ever bought food from a gas station? That's convenience right there. You valued convenience over your money at that point, right? That $2 candy bar. Why didn't you just wait and go to Walmart and buy the candy bar for 89 cents? Well, because you probably were on a road trip and you didn't want to drive 20 minutes out of your way to find a Walmart to get the cheapest candy bar. You just wanted to get the one there because you were filling up your car and you wanted to keep going on your trip, right? So convenience is something that people pay for. Think about valet parking. Do you want to stand in line? Do you want to wait? I just went to the mall 2-3 days ago. I went to the Westfield Mall here in San Jose. I'm not kidding you. From the time I turned into the mall to the time I parked in the parking terrace, it was 20 minutes. I drove by the valet and I thought, I wonder how much it costs because I really don't want to sit in the car any longer. So convenience adds a lot of value to people. Okay. So that can even be services that are like done for you services. I'm going to handle all of your marketing, right? You show up for 3 hours, you'll do an executive download, and then I'm going to create all of the marketing that you need for the month of January, right? That's an example of a potential offer that, say like a marketing expert could provide. So creating convenience for others is a way of adding value. And that goes back also to what I was saying with connecting with your affluent mentors or high-level public figures, people that you're interested in learning from. Make it really convenient for them. All right, how are we doing? Thumbs up. I always feel like I'm talking too much and I want to have some dialogue here.
I'm doing good. I'm liking this. I'm taking notes.
Awesome. All right, we're going to keep going then. So number 5 is fun. All right. How many of you have ever paid to have fun? Have you ever been on a roller coaster? Have you ever been to a water park? Have you ever bought birthday presents? Okay, those are all examples of creating fun. All right. Even going to events, even maybe the clothes that you buy might create fun for you. So fun is absolutely valuable to people. So the more fun that you can make it, the more interested people, depending, sometimes there's some stiff people who don't really want to have a lot of fun. But fun is definitely one of those currencies that we will use when we are making purchase decisions. I mean, even think about, I know this is really silly, but is it ever fun to like use those like blue toilet thing? You put the blue thing in your toilet and the water turns blue. I feel like that's kind of fun. And I'm like, I would just pay to, do that because it's kind of fun. Or like taking my kids to the car wash. I used to have a subscription to the car wash and I would take my kids every single day after school, whether my car was dirty or not, because it was fun, right? It was worth it. So thinking about how you can add fun into who you are or the services you provide is a great way to increase the value. All right. Number 6 is space. So how many people do you think went shopping on Black Friday and they went to Costco and they saw all the TVs, the big flat screen TVs that were for sale, and they saw the 45-inch and then they saw the 55-inch and they saw like the 90-inch, right? And they were like, oh, look at that 90-inch. And then they thought it through and they were like, wait a second, I do not have room for that. There's nowhere in my house that's going to fit. All right. So space, that's an example of the currency of space. Another example would be if you have ever been like say backpacking through Europe or on a trip. Has anyone ever stayed in a hostel? I have stayed in a hostel before and there is not a lot of space there, but it doesn't cost a lot of money either. Right now, I have also stayed and rented big giant Airbnbs in, Park City. And I've had, I don't know, there's 10 rooms, there was an elevator, I don't know, however, it was huge. And we had a whole massive group of people and we had a ton of space, actual physical space, right? We were able to do some goal setting stuff. We did some team training and some exercises. And the only reason why that was possible was because of the space that we had. All right. So space can be very, very valuable. There's a reason why there are nicer homes on Airbnbs that cost more than smaller homes. It's because space is one of those currencies that is a part of our decision-making process. All right. The last one is information. Okay. So here's what I find so interesting is we have so much access to information today. I don't know anywhere that's teaching life currencies except for one other place, and it's on a college campus. So you'd have to go to campus to get this information. But there's probably some other information out there that's similar to life currencies of what I'm teaching. You could have just gone and Googled it, right? But you're not. You're here. Now, have you ever Googled how to like fix a flat tire or how to like clean your washing machine? Information is available everywhere, and a lot of information is free. So if information is free, then why on earth would we ever buy books? Why on earth would we ever buy online courses or go to college and buy courses? Well, sometimes information packaged up in different ways offers different value. So one of the ways that I pay for information is that I have joined a high-level mastermind. This mastermind cost me $25,000 to join. There are 50, 60-ish people who are in that mastermind, and they range in variety from solopreneur up to a company that just got acquired by a very well-known company that you know the name of for over $1 billion. Right? So there are people in all sorts of varieties in there. And when I am in that room and when I connect with those people, I have access to information that I would not otherwise have. All right. So every single month we meet and I get a download of what's going on in the marketplace, what's going on in the top accounting firms, what's going on in supply chain, what's going on in finance, in real estate, in entrepreneurship, in marketing, in online business. I get downloads of information from people that I would not be able to find anywhere else because they are having conversations that I don't get to have yet because they are connected to people who are way more connected to me, right? Like there's people who are connected to Warren Buffett. There are people who are connected to Elon Musk. There's people who are connected to Damon John. Like there's some big connections that I have like secondary access to because I'm a part of this group. So that currency of information is a part of what made that $25,000 price tag worth it for me. I know that sounds like a lot of money. That's a little bit crazy pants, but that's what happens when we look at these different currencies and we use them to create value for ourselves and for others. All right. We'll do a little drum roll, I guess. We've gone through all of the 7 different life currencies. I want to touch on these bonus currencies really quick. So fear, love, time, and money. Fear is exactly what it sounds like. Like if we'll go back to the taxes example. I am totally afraid of doing my own taxes because I don't want to get audited by the IRS and I don't want to have to pay and I don't want to screw it up. And I'm afraid. So I'd rather pay somebody else. I've gone skydiving before. I was totally afraid of skydiving and I wanted to make sure that I went with someone who was, high quality, right? Who was an expert and would take away that fear for me. And so I went to one of the best places in the world to go skydiving. Love is a currency that is very powerful. And, think about a fancy restaurant that has like a Valentine's Day deal and they're going to light candles for you and bring you their finest steak. And they're going to create this intimate atmosphere so that you can have, a loving, like a loving atmosphere with your significant other or your person. That's value. That adds value to you. All right. Time, obviously time is very valuable. And if we can be spending our time doing things that create us say $500 an hour or $1,000 an hour, it would be smart for us to then spend, say, $50 or $100 an hour to people who can take care of other things for us. Now, there's also people who are willing to spend $5,000 for half a day sitting down with me to work on clarifying their positioning, their marketplace, their who their market is, how they should promote their services, how they should package up their services. And even though that $5,000 for half of a day seems like that could, I mean, it's like $1,000, $1,200 an hour. That seems like it could be a lot, but what I'm doing is I'm shortcutting a lot of things, taking away the mental load, telling people exactly what they need to do, providing high quality and expert strategic advice, providing convenience. So they don't have to go to school. They don't have to learn everything I did. They don't have to read every book I did. They don't have to talk to every mentor or join every networking community that I did. I can shortcut that for them, right? And so that's kind of part of that information value. And they decide that they value their time and getting things done faster than spending 4 years in college and 10 years building businesses and things like that. And then obviously money. Money is valuable to us, and money is really important. Money builds schools. It keeps hospitals running. It, funds research that saves us from diseases. It builds churches. It does so many wonderful things. And the pursuit of money, I think, can be very healthy or it can be toxic. But money in itself is very valuable, and it does provide a lot of opportunities and opens up doors. So awesome. All right. Tomorrow, we are going to wrap up how we take these life currencies and actually implement them and use them and build relationships with them, whether that be with mentors, with clients, or with peers. So with that, I will stop the recording and I'm going to take questions. If you guys have any questions, but thank you so much for being here. And thank you for those of you who watched the recording.